My video for July 23rd, 2017 is entitled A Very Effective Con Game. I received an email that is simply a link to a YouTube video entitled, quote, "Everything is an illusion. Quit participating!" Exclamation point, end quote. I responded to the sender, the alternative is suicide. When I opened the link, I found this, quote, "This video provides some ideas about how everything is an illusion, and all we have to do is quit participating," end quote. It's put out by an unknown group from Texas called Sovereignty International. I did not watch it except for the first part, turning it off after the second commercial in a short time. I'm sure there are others proposing the same thing, but I doubt any of them provide a reasonable way to escape the matrix. It's been a very effective con game that sucked us all in, including me, for a time. Yes, it has been an effective con game, and the idea that everything is an illusion is widespread in the spiritual community in which I live, and many of my friends are part of that everything is an illusion con game. And why do I call it an illusion? Well, I've said this before, I know, and I will probably say it again. But we're led to believe, truthfully, that much of the things, if not most of the things that we experience here on planet Earth are lies. They are a con. And humanity has been the victim of the con, and some humans have been sucked into it and become perpetrators of the con. And they're the ones that have risen to the top of the control grid, if you will, as the leaders. And they enforce the con on everyone. I tried to get out of the con game. I mean, I filed all sorts of paperwork and took all sorts of steps, as I've said in other videos, trying to get out of the matrix, if you will, and trying to be free while living here on Earth. My experience, and I'm not talking about my hope or my dream or my vision or anything like that. I'm talking about my actual living experience here on planet Earth, is that they don't want, they being those that have claimed leadership of this grid, this control game, they do not want you to escape. They do not want you to provide an honest way out. Now, I believe, and this is a hope, I believe that things are being exposed so that we can ultimately escape, but we haven't escaped yet. We're still in three-dimensional reality. We're not in the fourth dimension, we're not in the fifth dimension or the sixth or any other higher dimension. We still live here on planet Earth, and we are still subject to things that occur here on planet Earth over which we individually have very little control. I'm hoping that collectively that is shifting. I believe it is, I want it to be, but I don't yet see it shifted. The dark forces still have a major role that they are playing in this drama that is being unfolded. And one of the ways of escaping the illusion is to make the statement, well, I'm in 4D or I'm in 5D. And maybe a part of us is in higher dimensional reality. In fact, I do believe that our essence is from a higher dimensional reality. Call it God, call it spirit, call it, there's many names that you could call it. But the reality that we have to deal with remains 3D. It remains physical. Unless we're going to give up our physical bodies completely and become spirit again, which I don't think any of us actually want, but there are those that might think that that's what they want. But spirits created the body, or God created the body, because there's something important to experience that we cannot experience as spirits alone. We have to be embodied into some kind of physicality in order to have the experience. Apparently. I'm not saying that I'm absolutely grasping the entire picture and telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because I don't yet know what the whole truth and nothing but the truth is. And neither does anybody else that's on this planet still embodied. There are those of us that have visions, those of us that have experiences that seem to be out of the norm, yet we still live in the norm. Well, before you're enlightened, you chop wood and create things, and after you're enlightened, you chop wood and create things, or you have experience, or I forget the exact saying, but that's an old motif of chopping wood, both before you're enlightened and after you're enlightened. You still have to go through the same things that you had to go through when you weren't enlightened. And I don't think I'm fully enlightened yet. I have glimpses and glimmers of hopeful things, but I'm not enlightened. And as far as sovereignty goes, I have tried to become a sovereign being on planet Earth. I have taken lots of steps in my life to become a sovereign. And I thought I had attained it for a long time. I thought, well, I've done it. This is working, but it didn't work. As I said in other videos, they stole my house. As I've said in other videos, I ended up having another heart attack. I still haven't transformed this physical vessel into one of higher consciousness that I'd like to be able to transform it into, where I'm living in a more loving dimension, if you will, a more holistic dimension, rather than one that's as fragmented as our 3D reality is. But our 3D reality has to be dealt with. It has to be handled. It cannot be escaped. It cannot be avoided, because we're born here in this dimension, and this is our reality. Some of the children that seem to be being born at this time seem to be gifted from early childhood. I mean, I've seen videos of some of these kids, and they are amazing, absolutely amazing. And that is a hopeful sign for me that there is a shift going on, that we're moving into the higher dimension, outside of the con game, beyond the con game, however you want to say it, but it's not the same game. It's not the same game, but it is the game that we have to deal with. And I get tired of people that are pointing and putting out this nonsense that there's some way that we can be here now and not have to deal with all of the mess that's going on the planet. No, we have to handle the situation that we face. That's the lesson or the challenge that we're given. And if we just simply avoid it and deny it, we're missing the boat. We're not moving into it. Yes, we do create things from the inside out. And we do have to have spiritual experience that gives us a stability from the inside, or we wouldn't be able, if we didn't have that heart, if you will, of the higher realities as a reality, if we didn't feel that was a reality, we wouldn't be able to carry on very well as human beings here at all. But we have to carry on. We have to shift this thing, and we have to change the consciousness and the reality of Earth. And it's not a matter of embracing everything and saying it's all one. Maybe it is all one at a higher level, but in the 3D, it's not all one. And I don't mean we have to fight the other thing, but we do have to expose it, and we do have to deal with it, because that's our job. That's the challenge. Anyway, thank you folks for listening, and namaste.